Welcome back to Red Devils Talk, everyone. Me, your host, Session. And after our loss to Brighton, I know we don't want to talk about that anymore, but it is our most recent result. Another massive game. Bayern Munich away at the Allianz Arena. Champions League is back. Can't wait for it to be back at Old Trafford for us to hear the Champions League anthem ringing around at Old Trafford. But our first game is a massive game. Bayern Munich. This is your preview. Thank you for joining me. Drop a like, share, and of course subscribe to the channel and hit that notification bell so that you know exactly when I do upload videos. Bayern Munich, that's not the name we wanted to see in the draw or one of the bigger teams in our group. I think we fairly wanted a good group that we can progress from. Now, it is not to say we cannot progress from this group. I mean, the likes of FC Copenhagen and Galatasaray are good teams, and by my account, I think we should be able to beat them. However, Bayern Munich provides a massive challenge, whether it is away at the Allianz Arena tomorrow night, but at home, it can and will be a huge and massive game for us as well. We know the strength of Bayern Munich. We know that they are one of the favorites to win the Champions League this season, and every season for that matter. They have a massive record in winning the Bundesliga so many times in a row. Their quality of players, the way they play, it is a game that is massive for us. Without a doubt, we are the underdogs. I don't think that is unfair to say. And with everything happening at Manchester United, off the pitch and most recently on the pitch with performances, it does look a very difficult prospect for us to go to the Allianz Arena. Even considering our away form is not that good, we need to pull out a performance. We as the fans, the club itself needs some sort of positivity. I told myself this is a free hit, an opportunity for us to have a good performance with nothing to lose, because people and everyone expect us to lose. I've literally seen videos on Twitter about the score being 29-0 to Bayern Munich. I mean, it's all jokes, fair game, but that's literally what it is. Pep Guardiola, in his interview, basically was asked what he thinks about, the rest of the teams in the Premier League and they started the season. He says Liverpool has got a very good mentality that is still there. He speaks about Arsenal and the way that they play is beautiful. And then he was asked about United. And he laughed. He laughed as a response and then said, oh, we'll catch the rhythm and we'll soon, be able to be there. But the fact that he laughed pissed me off. It irked me. And if it irked me and angered me, it definitely has to anger the team. It has to anger Bruno, Rashford, Casemiro, Amrabat, Mount, Højlund, Anthony, Sancho, wherever those two might be, even Varane, Martinez, Onana. Every player should be irked and feel annoyed and angered by that response from Guardiola. We are a laughingstock. The way the club has been run is abysmal and disgusting. The leaks that have come out, such as one, it has been surprisingly reported by the Sun, and I might be sidetracking a bit here, we are in the Bayern Munich preview, but this is important and crucial to what is happening. Ten Hag supposedly stopped all leaks from the dressing room to the media, but the Sun comes out with saying things like Bruno went at McTominay after the game and that angered a few of the players and McTominay, and there was dressing room unrest. It was reported that Ten Hag is not being trusted by the club itself because of him using the SEG agency, and his son works for this particular agency, all these particular rumors and reports. Another leak came out saying that Sofyan Amrabat, the recruitment team at Manchester United, believe he will not succeed because he was an Erik ten Hag target. Nonsense. Pure nonsense. I don't think it is fair for them to slander and slander Ten Hag with such crap. And whoever this is at the club saying these things definitely should be dealt with. He's an idiot. Definitely should be fired. If it's one of the players in the dressing room, they definitely should be dropped. This cannot happen. And it shows a lack of management from the people above. And Ten Hag definitely doesn't trust the recruitment team. You see the history of their transfers, and the players that they brought in have not performed well enough. Their attitudes stink. The Maguires, the Sanchos most recently. These are players that have been recruited by the recruitment team and are now saying that Amrabat won't perform, won't succeed in the Premier League simply because he's an Erik ten Hag target. It's pure nonsense. And it ties into the atmosphere in the dressing room. The club came out and said that these reports are false and that Ten Hag is fully backed by the club and expect him to succeed and continue to work with him on his project. Ten Hag is not seen as the problem, and Fabrizio comes out and reports that there are problems around the club that is causing issues for Ten Hag and his day-to-day work. Not Ten Hag that is the problem. That is good news on a front of where people want Ten Hag out. I don't want him out. I believe in our manager. That is how I feel. It's always how I felt. We cannot sack another manager. We cannot fall into the same pattern we have season in, season out, where after a year and a half, the manager gets sacked and we get a new one in, and then a year later the same happens. We cannot have that. We simply cannot have that again. But let me get back to the preview. I did digress for a few moments. But Kingsley Coman for Bayern Munich will be back. He has trained. Rafael Guerreiro as well, it has been reported, will train. So they are quite strong in their squad. Their quality of players allows them to do that. Thomas Tuchel will not be on the sideline. He is suspended because of a red card that he got in last season's Champions League game, in his last game that he had. So it's quite not concerning, but in my opinion, it's going to be a huge game for us to actually try and get a good result, let alone win. A draw seems to be the most likely outcome for us. As I said, we are the underdogs and we have to treat the game as such. We are not in our most confident state. Away from home, we are not good. We have only had bad results. Here and there, perhaps a win, but we suck away from home. That's a fact. So there's no shame in us sitting back and playing on the counter. This is the type of game to do so, where we allow Bayern Munich to have the ball, we close them in their spaces, we try and press where we can, and when we can intercept and counter and be clinical in the final third. That is no shame. We should be able to play this way. It was kind of the way we played under Ole, and can be a way of play if we have the likes of Amrabat, Casemiro, Varane, Martinez, all being defensively sound, and of course those in front pressing well. Speaking of, Casemiro, Amrabat, my starting 11, who I would start, would be Onana in goal, obviously, and I think it will have to be, and Varane has been reported fit. Varane should play alongside Martinez. Reguilon at left back. He did well against Brighton and I think deserves to start, and was one of the brightest sparks in a abysmal performance. Wan-Bissaka being out for 2 months does allow Diogo Dalot to slot in at right back, of course being our only available right back. Amrabat did not play against Brighton, did train with the team, and if he is deemed fit, I think he should and will start alongside Casemiro and Bruno in the 10. If Mount is fit enough to start, I have a feeling Ten Hag might play him on the right-hand side. Not because he doesn't trust Pelistri, and maybe that is true. And Garnacho is not as good on the right-hand side. But Mount has experience playing there. He's played there for Chelsea, having a duo with Reece James. He can play there and perhaps link up with Diogo Dalot and interchange with Bruno on the right-hand side into the midfield, allowing Bruno to go there from time to time, as we know and have seen him do, especially against Brighton. That is what he did. And of course, on the left-hand side, Marcus Rashford has to be the one starting there. A selfish performance against Brighton, but most of the time he tends to bring himself and perform well against big teams. So a good performance by Rashford is definitely demanded by us as fans, but also by Ten Hag and the team. And up front, it has to be Rasmus Højlund to start. I think he will give the likes of Upamecano a bit of a struggle. Upamecano is not the best defender. We've seen last season in the Champions League and most recently now, that he is vulnerable. We can get at him, and I think that Højlund can cause problems to the Bayern Munich defense. And after the game against Brighton, does and should start this game. That's just my starting 11. So, as I said, I do feel we have good enough players, a good enough team to go out there and get a draw as a good result. There's no shame in that. It's the first game of the Champions League season. It's a huge and massive game for us, a difficult game for us. And if we can get a good result, which is a draw at minimum best, then there's no shame in that. We should take that back to Old Trafford when we do face them again, and then we might be in better form, we might be better confidence, we might find ourselves being much more sharper, much more fitter. Players will be back and having a good run of games, and the team might be more consistent in terms of having played a few games together. Since the start of the season, we haven't had a solid starting 11. Ten Hag hasn't had his strongest starting 11 on the pitch, and that does leave us with a bit of vulnerabilities when we do start certain players, and Ten Hag is not kept away from any criticism. He makes mistakes and we call him out for it. But it is a massive game, and it's a nice game to start our Champions League campaign off, and I'm excited for it. I'm sure that you are too. It's going to be an awesome game to watch, and we are the underdogs. People expect us to lose, and we have to accept that factor. But take it and use it as motivation to go out there, perform well, and show fight, show desire, show determination, passion, work hard, tackle, do what you are minimally required to do as a professional footballer, let alone a Manchester United footballer. So, thank you guys for joining me in the preview. I hope you guys enjoy the game. I am excited for it, as I said before. Drop a like if you've enjoyed the video. Thank you for showing your support, and for those who have subscribed to the channel most recently and those who are still here, thank you for your support. Share the channel to all your Manchester United and football friends. I want to increase the community, and of course, subscribe to the channel for those who haven't done so yet. You better be doing it, because I can see the stats and I know that about 78% of you guys are not subscribed, but you are watching the video. So please subscribe to the channel. It definitely does help me out. Have a good one till we speak each other. I keep falling over my words. I guess it's excitement from the game tomorrow night. But till we speak again soon, Red Devils, have a good one. Bye-bye. Thanks for watching. If you want more content on Manchester United, like, share and subscribe.